So, despite the politicians telling everyone in New South Wales that tomorrow is not Freedom Day, well, I'm telling you, the mood in Sydney, at least, is one of excitement and very much focused on regaining the freedom to socialise, to eat and drink in public venues, meet up with family we haven't seen, and travel within the greater metro area. The new Premier summed up the journey to this new phase at a pub in Sydney today.
It's been 100 days of blood, sweat and no beers.
Clever slogan. From tomorrow, with 73.5% of over 16s double vaccinated, hospitality returns with restricted numbers, gatherings outdoors can include groups of 30, retail and cinemas, they're back. So too hairdressers and beauty salons, and weddings and funerals can have 100 people in attendance as well. The unvaccinated, of course, won't be included in this partial reopening, but how will that be policed? I caught up with the New South Wales Police Commissioner Mick earlier this afternoon. Freedom celebrations, they started early in Sydney this weekend. Police had to break up some of the crowds at beaches. I guess you'd have some sympathy for the public, though, because there's a great deal of lockdown fatigue out there, isn't there?
Look, no, there is, Chris. And at different times, we've enforced the health orders with certainly a deal of measure, particularly during last year. And then during the Delta variants, we certainly applied the health orders and a lot sort of harsher. You know, we're a day out from 70% vaccination. I think the last thing we wanted to see was police, arresting hundreds of people. I know there's probably some disappointment around that in terms of the people who are at home doing the right thing, but, I don't think there was any utility in police showing a heavy hand last night.
I guess it makes sense that police too would be rather fatigued. It's been a massive 20 months where officers have been on assignments that hasn't been part of their gig and certainly not their role.
Yeah, I think Minister Stuart Ayres mentioned today he was trying to get the commissioner out of the hotel industry, and we've put some 255,000 people through hotel quarantine. 14 days, had to feed them 3 days a week and look after them, and we have to close borders and taken over maritime duties at different times. And I've really called on the police force in New South Wales to take on some roles and responsibilities that I certainly never thought we would. And I think punishing the community or punishing police for cautioning and taking a soft approach to the health orders last night, I think most people would see that as being reasonable.
Yeah. So what role will New South Wales Police play in ensuring that these rules are followed under a partially lifted freedom from tomorrow?
I think the vaccination passport is probably causing the most anxiety, particularly with business owners. And I'm trying to free police up from other duties in the pandemic to make sure that if a shop owner or big business or small business is struggling with someone at the front door, that we can respond quickly to give them assistance. And certainly isn't my vision for the police force to be stopping people mid-meal asking them to see their vaccination passport. And I think big and small business have dealt with these type of issues, well before COVID. And I think the examples of pubs and clubs and licensed premises, they've been refusing entry to people for a whole range of reasons for a long, long time. And if need be, they certainly call on police. And we want to be there to support small business and big business as they have to deal with the new normal.
So what if a venue can't get rid of a patron that they suspect is not vaccinated? That's when police come in rather than checking on vaccination passports ad nauseum.
Yeah, absolutely, Chris. And I would imagine that most business owners have called police for shoplifting or for intoxicated patrons or for people who aren't addressed appropriately and won't leave, or people who are behaving badly. There's a whole range of reasons why business owners pre-COVID have reached out to New South Wales Police for assistance. And at the moment, we have a lot of officers engaged in other COVID duties, and that's why the write down of police activity in the pandemic will line up with the 70, 80 and 90% to ensure that we have enough police out on the street to respond to those businesses that need assistance.
Does that mean that police won't be turning up to places like beaches, for instance, and dispersing crowds? Is that no longer part of what you think your role is?
I think that will certainly reduce as the changes come into play at midnight tonight And we know that, you know, can have 10 people at their homes, you can have 30 people in an outdoor gathering. The 2 and 4 square metre rule, you know, gives people a lot more access to the open air. So I think we will see a significant reduction in police having to respond to the health orders, because in theory they reduce at 70, and we could be at 80% in 7 to 10 days, which I think is an amazing thing as well. So look, police, much like the community, we welcome the relaxation of the health orders as the vaccination rates race towards 90%.
I think we'll find younger people pretty keen on getting to the local shopping centre, getting together with friends and cohorts, etc. Are they areas that you'll need to keep your eye on?
Yeah, certainly we will. But normally the big shopping centres, they have their own security. And I think it's probably more the smaller individual restaurants and shops that will need police assistance. I think the big pubs and clubs and restaurants, the big shopping centres, Chris, they are used to managing and taking some sense of responsibility for security. It's well drilled into many, many industries. But I do understand for smaller mum and dad type businesses, is that we want to be there to support them if they feel as though someone's in their shop and they are breaching the health orders.
I guess the fact that we're now seeing a lot of the highway patrol back doing what they normally do, which is patrol the highways, drivers need to be aware there'll be police on the roads and making sure that the rules are policed.
Yeah, look, very true, Chris. And as the health orders are reduced, then we will see more people on public transport, we'll see more people on the roads. Some of crimes like robberies and break-and-enters and car theft, Chris, they're at historic lows in modern policing. And some of the challenges for New South Wales Police, of course, we make sure we keep those low as people come back to our cities and people start to travel again. And we know that in regional New South Wales, people can holiday across regional New South Wales if you're from New South Wales. And so there are risks that come with that. And that's why I need to make sure that New South Wales Police, as soon as possible, gets back to day-to-day policing to protect the people of New South Wales.
It's been a very difficult period, but thank you very much on behalf of my viewers tonight for what New South Wales Police has done, as I say, under very difficult circumstances. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks so much.